Meta programs actually allow us to really understand how people get motivated. What we're listening for when we're trying to elicit meta programs is really not what people say, but how they say it. When we can understand how people get motivated, we can tailor our language in order to get the most out of them and influence their behaviour. One of the areas that I'd like to explore right now is the frame of reference filter. This lets us know whether someone has an internal frame of reference or an external frame of reference. So how would you know when you're doing a good job? Do they just know within themselves? They know inside, they gauge it for themselves? Or do they need to go outside and seek external data, feedback, sales figures? A typical entrepreneur would have a typical internal frame of reference. They just know themselves. A salesperson or someone sitting on a reception desk, an actor, someone in entertainment role, probably would have a high external frame of reference. That is, they're judging their performance based on external data. In a recruitment scenario or a environment where perhaps you're managing a team, if you've got a staff member that has a high internal frame of reference, they may be difficult to manage, because regardless of how you think they're performing, they think they've done a great job. If you've got a manager, let's say, that has a high external frame of reference, well, that could be problematic as well, because ultimately that person is not going to be able to make a decision until they've consulted everybody else. If they've got a high internal frame of reference in a management role, well, that too can also prove quite challenging, because perhaps they're not going to engage anybody or get anyone else's buy-in. They're just going to make the decision without any level of consultation. So from a management perspective, ideally we're looking for someone who's got a high internal frame of reference, but also has a high external check. You can utilise this information in order to get the most out of the people that you're working with. From an advice perspective, it would be really handy to know whether your clients have an internal frame of reference or an external frame of reference. Because if they've got a high external frame of reference, they're likely going to need testimonials or other bits of advice where people are recommending your services, because ultimately they are needing some form of external data.